Hey, Rich.
How you doing, David?
Doing all right, man. So we made this little trek down to Detroit, a little different from last year.
Absolutely.
What do you think, man? How do you think it went?
It went very well. We got a chance to see a lot of places, got in and out of everything, and so I think it went well.
Hey, Rich.
How you doing? How you doing, Professor Tarver?
Doing all right, man. We can talk like the Flint Story podcast. Rich, I'm so excited. We're going into Detroit.
Going to Detroit.
It's 8 Mile. Famous road.
We're actually about to enter Detroit. We're at the 8 Mile Junction here, leaving Ferndale, Michigan.
Ferndale. Famous Ferndale. Going over
8 Mile. Going over 8 Mile. On our left-hand side is one of the new malls that they built in Detroit.
Is that the State Fairgrounds over there?
Yeah, State Fairgrounds. We're coming up on a significant stretch, and where the first mile of concrete or paved road was built. There's a monument on our right-hand side, a little bit further down, that talks about that.
The first mile of paved road in the whole country.
Correct.
I want you to tell me what you think of good cakes and bakes. Did you get something to take home? Oh my goodness. You know you can mail something to yourself. Good cakes and bakes. All right. Detroit.
We're getting ready to, very soon we're going to enter one of the two cities that are fully engulfed by the city of Detroit. We're in Highland Park. Now we're coming up on a historic piece of Highland Park. This is the old first plant built for Model Ts.
This is where the first modern assembly line, right?
Right.
Building
It's
the
the
Model
first.
T Ford.
Right. It's the first movable assembly line.
Yeah. Dave said he living over here.
There he is.
He's standing up?
Yeah.
There he is.
Well, I know we're at the right spot.
Let's see. We are only 8 minutes late.
Huh?
We're 8 minutes late. Ready, Mike, then?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So here we are in the north end of Detroit, and we are with Mr. David Alate. David came here, I don't know, 6 years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. I met him soon after he got here. He was a young guy, fresh off the bus from New York City. He was in the financial industry there, went to Columbia, and he decided he was going to come to Detroit and take advantage of the opportunities in the real estate market. So I'll let you, this is one of the houses he works on, so I'll let you tell him about his business.
Where you have a lot of older folks, a lot of them own their houses outright. Yeah. They paid off the mortgage over 30 years. Yeah. Oftentimes the home goes to the second generation or third generation. Right. Maybe that generation isn't here in Detroit, or they don't really appreciate that they got this property. Right. Over time, the property increased in value pretty dramatically, and now becomes desirable as the neighborhood changes. So that because that family may not have the resources or even desire to invest in that property, it gets either foreclosed on for taxes, right. It gets foreclosed on because of mortgage, right. Or it's sold to speculators or developers at a much lower price than what it's worth. So one thing we're actually working with, and we've talked to a couple foundations in the city, we're going to start it on Atkinson Street, just south of Boston Edison on the other side of Woodward. We started there buying kind of abandoned homes, and what we recognized was that there was this issue where families were losing properties because they didn't have either the kind of the resources from a just awareness perspective to structure a way to keep that asset, keep that home in the family. So you could do it, and I'm not saying everybody should have a house forever, but they should have the flexibility to maximize the value for their families. Right?
Highland Park is not what one would call an affluent community today.
Nope.
A lot of strip malls here, rundown buildings. How did Highland Park get this way?
Well, as you saw back there, they were tearing down the old assembly, still parts of their old assembly plants. Not General Motors, but Ford Motor Company moved from Highland Park. And Highland Park at one time also had the world headquarters for Dodge, which is
Chrysler. That was Highland Park, huh?
And so both entities have moved. And without manufacturing, without a major source of jobs, Highland Park is what it is today.
So we were in Detroit when we crossed 8 Mile. We came down a little ways. We entered Highland Park. We're still in Highland Park. And a little bit up ahead, we're going to be back in Detroit. Because as you say, Detroit completely encircles Highland Park and Hamtramck.
Right.
When I was researching Hamtramck, it said there's a little piece of Hamtramck that borders Highland Park.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, you're always gonna have your fried chicken joints.
Famous Church's chicken. So guys can see, we are leaving Highland Park. The street signs in Highland Park are blue. Street signs in Detroit are green.
I didn't know that, Reg.
So we now move back into the city of Detroit.
You're just a font of knowledge.
On the left-hand side is the major Catholic church where the bishop used to preside.
Over the Detroit Archdiocese.
Yes.
Grand Boulevard.
Grand Boulevard. The home of General Motors.
New Center area.
Right. Okay. Known as the New Center area, when General Motors built this building, a lot of people moved and a lot of business moved out here. It does become the new center of the city at some point in time.
So that's the General Motors 4 towers on the left.
Yes, now it's owned by the state of Michigan.
And that's the Fisher Building on the right?
Fisher Building on the right. Also houses the Fisher Theater.
That General Motors building used to be the center of the universe.
Yes, it did. General Motors, before you guys were born, most likely, was the largest corporation in the world at one point in time.
Henry Ford Hospital. The main hospital, anyway.
Right.
They're all over the place.
Right. The origin of Henry Ford Hospital was
That's the cancer
Henry Ford, as a part of his goal to keep his workers healthy and coming to work, built a hospital.
Temptations. Miracles.
Yeah.
4 tops.
All of those.
And there's Motown, the original Hitsville, USA, on the left. I'm going to turn around so we get a little bit better view. I don't think I can turn here, can
Well, you're gonna have to do. You can make it. It's kind of
Just
you.
make a Yui.
Yes.
Baby, baby, where did our love go? Supremes. Uh-oh.
Think you can make it now?
I got it.
Are we gonna see Motown here? Detroit is known for 3 types of music that were supposedly started in Detroit. Motown, which is R&B, techno, and early punk rock. I'm not an expert on early punk rock. Now, Motown, as you can see, is fenced in. Motown is going under a $50 million renovation.
Oh,
So we can't get in to go inside and sing for you, but that's what's happening.
I didn't tell you what, the great thing about that Pistons, the great thing about Detroit, practically anywhere you go, you like in New York, you got to go around looking for a parking spot for days. In Detroit, you just pull up and get out the car. You know, it's not crowded enough yet where you can't go where you want to go.
Yes, one of the things you guys may remember that Detroit, at one point in time had 1.8 million, and now it's right around 630,000. That leaves a lot of room.
So the headquarters for General Motors was over here in those General Motors buildings, and then they put the engineers and designers back here.
Right.
Behind the oh, they got this blocked off now. You can't just pull in there. And now all that engineering takes place out in Warren, right at the GM Tech Center.
Correcto.
When did they leave here? It must have been like in the 60s or
They
something.
left, it was long ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This thing. There we go.
All right, the building on your right-hand side is Techtown. I'll let Professor Tarver talk about it in detail.
Well, Techtown Detroit is, I think it's like one of the first incubators in the city. It's a co-working space. It's not just for tech businesses, it's for any business, but it's jointly run by Wayne State University and the Techtown board. And Techtown also, or Wayne State now has taken over this building on the left. It used to be something called Next Energy. It's now the Industry Innovation Center, and Techtown runs something in there that they call Detroit Urban Solutions. Interesting. And that's an old fire station there, huh?
Yep, still being in use.
But this is kind of a hub of startup activity, entrepreneurial activity in Detroit. A lot of folks are using that Techtown co-working space, and they also rent space in the building for offices for different companies, mostly early stage companies. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Now we're turning back down Cass Avenue. We're really starting to enter most of the Wayne State-owned property. Wayne State is the 3rd largest university in the state. It's also one of the schools that make up the research. What do they call it?
URC?
Yes.
University Research Corridor.
Corridor, correct. And that's University of Michigan, Wayne State, and MSU, Michigan State University.
It's the flagship store for Carhartt here on the right, which is a Detroit business, really gotten popular with the young folks, but it's work clothing.
Going down Wayne State on your right-hand side was the law schools. School and College of Nursing. Still down going through Wayne State area. On your left-hand side is going to be Detroit Public Library. It's a beautiful library.
Beautiful.
On the other side of the library is one of the major attractions in the city of Detroit. Maybe we can stop by, take a pass by there. Detroit Institute of Art. Detroit Institute of Art is one of the top 5 museums in the United States, art museums, city art museums in the United States. Over 650,000 pieces of art. In 2014, the art was appraised at a little bit over $8 billion. I'm not sure what that number would be today, but I'm sure. $8 billion? Yes, I'm sure it will be a lot higher now. 8.1 billion to be exact, but who's counting?
Wow. So I'm gonna go around the block and you'll be able to see.
Okay, DIA. I suggest if you do come to city of Detroit on your own time that you go by and take a look at it.
They're doing some renovations there.
Absolutely.
So that's the DIA on the right.
Detroit Institute of Arts on your right-hand side.
Library on the left.
Also on your left-hand side, where we're turning now, guys, is Detroit Historical Museum. Detroit Historical Museum really houses the story of Detroit from 1701, which is the beginning of the city of Detroit, and it talks about that all the way up to today. It's another nice museum. It goes back to, like I told you, the story of Mr. Cadillac, found in the city of Detroit. And it was French, and it was founded as a fur stop, fur trade center.
Of course, the Shinola flagship store.
Yep.
On the left. I'm gonna turn around here, so maybe I can avoid getting hit this time. Shinola.
Hello, my name is Renetta Andrew. I'm a Shinola employee. I'm one of the store managers here at the Canfield location, which is our flagship location. Our store was opened in 2013. The very first store, we only started with 1,000 square feet, which is a very small space. And then we expanded every year since then. We started with watches and bicycles in the beginning. And then we evolved into jewelry, leather goods, and all different kinds of things that will make your house and your home and everything look beautiful. We now have audio equipment also, so turntables and speakers and headphones and ear sets, and we would love for you guys to come down and check us out and have an experience here with us here at the Shinola store on Casa Canfield.
Still going down Cass, folks. One major street over from Woodward. We're getting up in the area called the district of Detroit area. When you talk about major property owners in the city of Detroit, the district is owned not exclusively, but going on the wrong side. Yeah, now you're right. But the district is most of the buildings are owned by the Ilitch corporation, Illich Group.
Most of them empty.
Yep. Illich Group at one point in time owned 360 some buildings down here, with about 70 being vacant. Back on Woodward, we're
Going over the M1 track.
going over the M1, the Q line or the M1 track. Some people call it the M1 track. Some people call it the Q line. One and the same. We're getting into the stadium area. Remember I told you Wayne State? Let's move down next to Little Caesars. On your right-hand side is Wayne State, named after Mike Ilitch School, called Mike Ilitch School of Business now. On your right-hand side is Little Caesars Arena. This arena houses both the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Red Wings. Seating is about 19.5 for the Red Wings, and a little bit over, right around 21,000 capacity for the Detroit Pistons. As we get a little bit further down, you're going to see the other two stadiums on your left-hand side. The first one you're going to see is the Comerica Park, named after Comerica Bank. It used to be one of the largest banks in the city of Detroit. Headquarters now moved down to Texas. Also on the right-hand side is the Fox Theater, which is owned by the Illiches, and next to it is the new Illich World Headquarters. There's a lot of cars here, or quite a few cars, because it's a baseball game today. Make-up baseball game between the Chicago White Sox and obviously Detroit Tigers.
Tigers vying for first place right now?
Tigers would hope to get into second, but the Tigers will not make the playoffs again. I don't think you can really see Ford Field, which is the football stadium, and that's behind Comerica Park football stadium, if I'm not mistaken, right around 70,000 capacity, and it is, as the name states, is owned by the Ford family. And the Detroit Lions are 0-3. But we was robbed yesterday.
You gonna talk about the people mover, man? People mover monorail?
I know. Oh yes. In front of us is the people mover monorail. People mover. I think 1979. I may be wrong on the exact date, but the people mover is 2.9 miles, and it moves people on this monorail around the city. It has 13 stops, potential stops, and it's just a circular, 2.9 mile circular around inside the city. This part of town is mostly owned by Dan Gilbert. A lot of new buildings built down here. Oh, Ford Field, 65,000. I was wondering to myself if I was right, 65,000 capacity.
That's close.
Pretty much close. This site that you see that is being built is going to be the tallest tower in the city of Detroit, Hudson Tower. That used to be the site of the old Hudson store long before any of you guys were born. I think it was torn down. And I'm not sure how many stories it's going to be now. They have changed it over the years that it's been under development.
Hello, my name is Julia Kortberg, and I took David Tarver's Urban Entrepreneurship course in 2016, which is when I graduated. I currently am the director of programs for an organization called Venture for America, and I live in Detroit and have been here the last almost 5 years since graduating U of M. David asked me to talk a little bit about my experience living and working in Detroit and what it's like to be a part of the entrepreneurship ecosystem there. So I think a great place to start is my job. So taking a step back, Venture for America is a nonprofit organization that takes top talent across the country and places them in startups in cities with emerging startup ecosystems. So we have 14 cities, one of which is Detroit. So the fellows spend 2 years working for their startup company, learning about entrepreneurship, working with their founders, and growing the business. I was a Venture for America fellow, so when I graduated U of M, I went ahead and did the fellowship in Detroit and worked for a couple different startups there. And then I've been a part of the Venture for America team for the last 2 years, so my role as director of programs is to run our entrepreneurship programs. So I run our training camp program, which is a startup boot camp, a month-long startup boot camp for our incoming class of fellows. It takes place typically at Wayne State, this year virtually. And during that camp, the fellows learn all of the hard and soft skills that we think are really important to have before going to work at a startup. It's a challenge-based learning program, so fellows have the opportunity to apply the practical skills that they're learning to actually have an impact. So, for example, one of my favorite challenges we have is the website challenge, where this past year we actually brought 45 minority-owned small businesses online who previously didn't have a website presence. So I run our training camp program. I run our Redux program, which is a professional development program for our year one fellows, where they grow their management and leadership skills. I also, support our accelerator program, which is a 4-month-long accelerator for our Venture for America founders. And so when I sort of think back of, 2016 Urban Entrepreneurship course to where we are today, it's really, it's interesting to reflect back. Like, I remember in our course, that was when the founders of Bamboo, which is a co-working space, like a community-based co-working space for startups, they came and visited us. And it was when they were first getting their, Bamboo started. And now that's actually where Venture for America is based. And Bamboo has since expanded to Royal Oak and has a few floors. And then I reflect back on businesses like April's Good Cakes and Bakes, which was introduced to us in 2016. And, April is still in business in Livernois. And if you haven't had her gooey pies, those are out of this world. I recommend you try them. So what I'm trying to say is I'm happy to say that the businesses that we were introduced to in Urban Entrepreneurship course are still around today, especially in the world that we have. But it's such a community. Like, when I think about the startup ecosystem that I'm part of, it's very community oriented. Everybody wants to support and help each other. It's very close knit. You're 1 to 2 people away from anybody in the community. And the entrepreneurs here are very kind and very ambitious, and it's really a special place to be. Thank you.
Well, now we're down at Campus Marshes, though.
Mm-hmm. Campus Marshes on your left-hand side. It is in the winter. It's a skating arena. It's a skating facility, and it's outdoor skating. And it is larger than... what's the New York one that gets all the credit?
Oh, yeah.
What is it called?
The New York skating rink.
Yeah, down in Manhattan. I can't think of the name of it.
Rockefeller Center.
Rockefeller Center. Thank you, Professor Tolliver.
We have skated there a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Coney Island.
Coney Island. Coney Island is not unique to Detroit, but Detroit has adopted Coney Island, and people come to Detroit, usually make a stop at Coney Island. 2 Coney Islands in front of us are the famous American Coney Island, which is the one that you can see, and behind that is Lafayette Coney Island. 2 brothers started American Coney Island. For whatever reason, they broke up, and one opened Lafayette. And then right next to each other, competing Coney Islands, I think Lafayette is way better.
You have to tell people what a Coney Island is, man.
Oh, a Coney Island, I'm sorry. A Coney Island is a hot dog with chili on top and onions and a strip of mustard. On the right-hand side, AT&T. On the left-hand side, you don't want to go there. That's the Fed building. 12th floor is the FBI. Coming up on our left-hand side is the Detroit Police Station. That multicolored building, that's green and green.
Oh my goodness.
Looks like puke. Next to it is some other place you don't want to get caught in. It's the IRS building. Starting to get into the southeast area of Detroit. On the left-hand side coming up, you're going to see the old Detroit train station, which has now been purchased by the Ford Corporation. It's being renovated. This is an area of town called Corktown. The old Tiger Stadium is in this area. As a matter of fact, to the right-hand side, I think we'll be able to see it a little bit better up here. So I told you this is Corktown area. There was a major concern that when the Tigers moved the stadium to downtown, that this area was going to fade away. This area has been able to maintain, and now with Ford redoing the old train station, the property values are on the rise.
Yep.
What they're putting in here is the hope is that this whole area will grow because they're putting in some of their electric vehicle engineering and self-driving. Turn right here. Engineer types.
Yeah.
And so the expectation is that it's going to grow. Looks like they are either tearing down or rebuilding the train over. You go back to the Village, you go back to Henry Ford II, you look at what he did with the villages, and they're all in the expectations of helping build downtown and grow this area. And so Matty Maroon got this building, but Matty Maroon is also known for his ownership of the Ambassador Bridge. And the Ambassador Bridge, Matty Maroon brought most of that property around there, and he and Detroit have negotiated various deals for property in this area.
Metalwork, ironworks for the train station.
Yeah. Train station for a number of years was purchased from the city of Detroit, owned by another billionaire in the city of Detroit. I've talked to you about the Villages. I've talked to you briefly about Dan Gilbert, but the Maroon family, Matty Maroon,
The
late Matty Maroon, used to own this train station. Matty Maroon is more famous and known for he owns the Ambassador Bridge. Ambassador Bridge was at one point in time valued between $1 and $3 billion. I have not, told you right. I was about, last time I looked at that number, it was, I don't know, about 2014, so I can't speak to the value of it right now.
The only privately owned international crossing.
Right. And it is the second busiest crossing in the United States.
Second behind.
Right in San Diego, going into Tijuana. There are 3 international crossings in the city of Detroit. There is the Ambassador Bridge. There's another car tunnel right out in the city, right by the Rink Center. And the third is there's a rail passage. The parking lot is all new. That used to be the same as that. Used to be
Yeah.
warehouses right there.
Now, what's the parking lot gonna be for?
That's a good question. That
I
would
don't see
show that
anything around
some.
here.
That would tell me that, like I said, and Professor Boyle didn't say that they're building some other things around this area.
Huh.
Because we got a big parking lot with nothing attached to it. But when the late Matty Maroon bought the Ambassador Bridge, he outbid what famous known businessman? Would you like to answer that, Professor Tarver?
What famous businessman?
Yep. One time was the richest man in the world, people said.
Henry Ford.
No. No. We stopped Mexican Village.
Frank Sinatra.
No. All righty. I don't think we're making progress with Professor.
Wait a minute. Let me guess. What was the most famous in the world?
It was one time the most richest.
One of the most richest.
Yeah,
Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, no. He didn't buy the bridge. He didn't buy the bridge until the 70s. David.
Yeah, I can't get in there, can I?
Yeah, you can park in the parking. That's theirs.
But is this?
No, this is just an alley.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you. Park in there.
Let's see. Who is the most famous?
One of the most famous.
The richest, rather.
One of the most famous, one of the richest. I'll give you a hint. He lives in Nebraska. How many rich people live in Nebraska?
Warren Buffett.
Thank you, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett bid for the bridge?
Warren Buffett came in second, bidding for the bridge.
That would have been quite a coup for him.
Yep.
Brandon, you're the artist.
That's me, yeah.
Doing this, just a mural for the Roberto Clemente Recreation Center.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, how long you been doing this artist stuff, man?
I've been painting professionally for about 10 years, and I've been painting murals for about 16 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other ones have you done?
Well, I'm actually from Memphis, Tennessee, but I moved here to Detroit in 2018
Oh, okay.
for the art community. So I haven't done as many in Detroit as in Tennessee and
Yeah.
Memphis, but I've maybe done, like, in the 3 years I've been here, maybe 5 or 6 around.
So who commissioned this work?
This is actually commissioned by the city of Detroit. I'm doing a residency that they have called City Walls.
Okay.
So we get a pretty modest stipend.
Yeah.
And then we speak with the community's shareholders and stakeholders, and they kind of tell us what they would like to see and what
Okay.
they would like for the artwork to represent.
Okay.
And then we kind of bring their vision to life for them.
On the left-hand side.
Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo.
Thank you. You look at those.
Oh, those are brand new.
Yep.
Look like something you see in Manhattan Beach or something.
Underneath the city of Detroit, folks, is the Detroit's built on salt. 12,000 feet deep. Salt.
12,000 feet?
1,200 feet. 1,200
About to
feet.
say, sure.
1,200 feet.
That's a couple miles.
1,500 acres.
1,500?
Yep. And 100 roads built on the city of Salt.
Oh, back at the Coneys.
Yeah, back at Coney's.
That's another electric bike. Everybody on electric bikes now.
This is the old financial district in Detroit. This has since become converted to other things, as Detroit is really not the home of major banks like they used to be. This is the Griswold building. It's owned by Wayne County. The architecture in there is just beautiful. We don't have time to go in, but I do recommend if you're ever in Detroit, just to stick your head in. So you can see from the outside how decorative is out. That's on the outside.
Is that Pewabic Town?
There's Pewabic Town up there, and the special lighting. Oh, sorry about that.
When COVID hit, we lost a lot of our event business. A lot of people would host events here, workshops, meetings, book signings, big panel discussions, things like that. We lost a lot of that, of course, during COVID. But Bobby had the foresight before, probably October or summer of 2019, to start working with third-party virtual office vendors.
Both here and good face to face. You will notice that Godwin talks in terms of his business model, right? And in order for our business to be able to adapt to changing circumstances, you have to understand what those elements of your business model are. So when you go from in-person dining to a vending machine or delivery, what element of the business model is changing? Which element of those 9 elements? The channel, right? So if you have analyzed your business in terms of a business model, you can say when COVID comes and shuts down your in-house dining, you know right away, this is the element that's changing. I got to redesign the channel.
Straight ahead, Tcf Building, formerly the Cobo Hall. It's one of the main centers for trade show events in the city of Detroit. Used to be the home of the Detroit Auto Show.
North American International Auto Show.
Yes, absolutely. The big building on your right-hand side is the Renaissance Center. Renaissance Center was one of the efforts before Gilbert and before the emergence of the Illich family in the city of Detroit. Henry Ford II wanted to bring back the city. One of the big efforts he had was to build this Renaissance Center, and he moved a number of employees down to Detroit to be a part of this effort. Hart Plaza, also to your right, being renovated. Renaissance Center has since changed hands, and inside the Renaissance Building now is become the headquarters for General Motors Corporation. You can see the GM sign on the front. Also, we just passed on the right is the underground tunnel going to Canada.
Takes a lot of time to tour this city.
Yeah, it does.
And we just scratched the surface.
Yep. What's the city?
139 square miles.
139 square miles, a big city. So you can see to your right, it's the riverfront, and you can see Canada on the other side.
Dog? Oh, DCG.
DCG. No, there's no dog right there.
That building's for sale.
My favorite tour is just the smaller boats. We go up and down. They do a lot more about the history and talk about both sides of the water.
So broken. I just had to go like, he's like, oh, what did you guys do? You just look at actual views.
So we're going over to Belle. The bridge that we're crossing over is MacArthur Bridge. Belle Isle is the largest city-owned island park in the United States. It's 982 acres. There's a 30-year lease between the city of Detroit and the state, as the state has taken over control of the bridge, let's say of the island. Oh, it's a nice view of the city. I don't know if we could see it well, but there's a huge fountain, James Scott Memorial Fountain,
Oh yeah, we were just
in the
over
middle
there.
of
Bike
the
rides.
middle of the.
There it is.
Yep, I don't know if you could see it.
Yeah, we were just over there. I didn't get out for the fountain, but
Right, on the left-hand side, it's a beautiful fountain. I think you can see it now on your left-hand side. Right-hand side, just people enjoying a beautiful day in Detroit. It's about 75 degrees, may go up to 80. See people riding their bikes, running over here, just getting general use of the facility. Over to your left-hand side is the conservatory, the botany. So if you got some time, I would suggest that you come over and go through the greenhouse. Aquarium is right next to it. So you can see it's a large island.
this place is huge.
A lot of deer out here.
We just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we decided to just give you a quick view of it. Like I said, if you want to ride your bike, it's a great place for riding your bike. Great place for jogging also.
Where you going? Just going around the park?
Yeah, we're just going around the park. We have actually hit the perimeter of the park. We're just going around the park. Right hand side is a golfing facility, chipping, putting. On your right hand side is the Yacht Club. It'll come up clear view now. I don't know how many boats are docked there. See, on the other side, there's a ton of boats on the other side. Some of the bigger boats on the other side. So it is used for weddings and other types of things also. The Yacht Club itself. As you can imagine, a lot of fishing. Now we're cutting up on the beach. This is not the greatest beach weather, but if you come here on the weekends, on a hot day, the beach is loaded. Just want to give you guys a view of this.
Oh, shit.
Oh, came off a tree.
Oh!
Hey. Going back over MacArthur Bridge, saying goodbye to Belle Isle. Peace.
Bye, Belle Isle.
One lady decided to take the walk across.
Where'd that name come from?
I have no idea where Grosse Pointe came from. I'd have to look that one up. As you know, there's Grosse Pointe Hill.
Grosse Pointe Woods.
That's right. That's why I just called the Grosse Pointes, because there are several of them.
Grosse Pointe Shores.
Yes. And what's known as Greektown, folks. Obviously, there's a Greektown casino, but it's a hotel to our right. Dinium. This whole area that's over here is known for Greek restaurants. All right, folks, we're in the Eastern Market, one of the largest open markets on the weekends. One of the reasons we're not going to take a tour up here, it is 100% busy, and traffic is backed up. As we were seeing those murals being authorized by the city, you will also see murals all across the Eastern Market. I think there are 5 sheds. Some are open, some are closed on the weekends. All of them are being used. Want to turn, show me the backside. Yeah, turn right.
Right here?
Yeah. So you can see, like I told you, a lot of sheds, indoor sheds. Behind the Eastern Market, they started to do boutique shops, some other fresh food things, but they're starting to open clothing and jewelry boutique shops down the Eastern Market area also. One of the big things down here is Flower Day. Any type of flower you may imagine, you can get down here. Girls. They have competition days. You can see some very graphic building colors and murals, like I said, on both sides. Red Bull Art Gallery is back there. We passed it. Interesting art exhibits down here. That's about it, man.
Okay.
On the weekends, there'll be musicians playing.
Karaoke outside on
Right.
Russell Street.
Mm-hmm.
What's that place? You know, the
I
place
know
that
it.
just changed hands.
It's right down here to the
Famous
right.
place.
We get in front of it. Burt's.
Burt's.
Burt's is a staple down here. Burt's has been down there for years. They have live entertainment various nights during the week, and they also have barbecue and live entertainment every Saturday.
Right there.
Eat at Burt's. Jazz, blues, and Motown. That's about it for the Eastern Market. This big Kowalski wiener up here. Highland, not Highland Park, but Hamtramck was known when I was growing up as a Polish area, Polish community. Before that, as I spoke of, it was German area. So various ethnic groups have populated this city. Look how close everything is.
Yeah, it's it. I never thought of it that way before, but I see it now.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, you can see diversity too.
It looks like a different city. It is a different city, I guess,
Right.
but it looks like it could be like in Queens or something.
Mm-hmm. You and this guy playing
Yeah.
You can see blue signs again, not the green of Detroit. I think we just wanted to show you the diversity of this area come through.
It's a very heavily Muslim area.
Yep.
Oh, that's the Welcome to Bangletown sign there, Jane Park. So I think if you pull in right here where it says stop bus, I still don't see a library, do you?
No.
Is that it? No, that's a Dollar General. That brick building there, I don't see no library. But
Here it is, right there.
There it is.
Okay.
Boy, it's a small one.
So we can just pull here because I think he wants to have us in that where that Welcome to Bangletown sign is. Anyway, and this looks like a good spot, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
You see anything inside? Oh, there it is.
When you want to be a business person, you will know how important to have one eye on the political side, other eye on the business side. And when you work with the legislative bodies, government, local, city ordinance and all that, and then if you have a vision of what you like to do as an entrepreneur, this is a great mix. Put it together, blend those two together, and you will have a successful recipe.
Maybe so. It could be in Baghdad. It feels like we're in another country.
Look down there, all the flags out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to.
Look like pride in the neighborhood too.
That's why these folks were talking about in class that time having auxiliary houses behind these places. Remember that? That was one of the things, because people bring their relatives over and need a
Right.
place for them. Jeez. There's some black folks in town too.
Oh yeah, they always have. That's one thing about Hamtramckers. Always had a number of black folks. So I say it's always been a diverse community.
Yeah, this will be interesting for students to see